You just opened your lab results app. Your total PSA is a bit high, but then you see another confusing line. Free PSA ratio, 15%. You quickly search the internet and suddenly you are spiraling. Is 15% dangerously low? Is it high? Should you be panicking right now? Take a deep breath. I know diving into medical data can feel terrifying, but 15% is not an immediate panic button. It is just a puzzle piece. Today, we are going to decode exactly what a free PSA ratio is, why doctors measure it, and what a 15% result actually means for your health. Before we talk about the complicated math, let us meet the star of the show. Sitting just below your bladder is a tiny, walnut-sized gland called the prostate. This little gland has a very specific day job. It works hard every single day to produce a special fluid that helps nourish and transport sperm. While doing its job, the prostate naturally produces a specific protein called PSA, or prostate-specific antigen. Think of it as a biological byproduct of its daily work. Most of this PSA stays safely inside the prostate, but a tiny amount constantly leaks out into your bloodstream. This mild leakage is completely normal for every man. When you get a standard prostate screening, doctors draw your blood to measure your total PSA. It is essentially taking a head count of all the PSA floating around. If your total PSA is elevated, it means your prostate is irritated or angry. But here is the catch. Total PSA does not tell us why it is angry. Is it just naturally enlarged due to age? Is it a minor infection? Or is it something more serious, like prostate cancer? Total PSA is just a loud smoke alarm. That is exactly when doctors call in the backup test, the free PSA ratio. It acts like a powerful magnifying glass to figure out the actual cause of the smoke. You see, when PSA travels through your bloodstream, it actually travels in two completely different styles. Some are tightly handcuffed, and some are floating totally free. Most PSA proteins in the blood are bound. They attach themselves tightly to other larger proteins, moving slowly like they are being escorted by massive microscopic bodyguards. But a small percentage of PSA proteins float around completely alone, unattached to anything. This energetic, unbound version is what we call your free PSA. To get your ratio, the lab does a simple math equation. They divide your free PSA by your total PSA to get a percentage. For example, if your total PSA is 10 and your free PSA is 1.5, your ratio is exactly 15%. But why does this fraction matter so much? It all comes down to how different types of cells behave inside your prostate. Normal prostate cells and benign swollen cells from aging are like generous neighbors. They release mostly free, unbound PSA into your blood. But cancer cells are chaotic. They are messy biological factories. They produce PSA that gets instantly handcuffed to other proteins, creating bound PSA. Therefore, urologists use a simple golden rule. The higher your percentage of free PSA, the better off you are. Let us look at the three main brackets. If your ratio is over 25%, you can generally breathe a huge sigh of relief. A high ratio usually points to benign enlargement. Your prostate is not cancerous, it is just getting a bit chunky and lazy with age. On the other end, if your ratio is less than 10%, that is considered a medical red flag for urologists. A percentage that low means there is too much bound PSA, which carries a significantly higher probability of prostate cancer needing immediate attention. But what about the space between 10 and 25%? Welcome to what doctors universally call the medical gray zone. And right smack in the middle of this foggy, confusing space is your number, 15%. This is exactly why you feel anxious. The internet cannot give you a straight answer because 15% is strictly intermediate. It is not low enough to sound the severe alarm bells, but it is not high enough to completely ignore. It is a biological coin toss. But do not panic. Being in the gray zone does not mean you have cancer. It simply means we need a better flashlight to look closer. In the past, a 15% ratio might have led straight to a blind biopsy. It was basically poking around in the dark, hoping to find the problem. Naturally, just hearing the word biopsy is enough to make any man want to run for the hills. Nobody wants a needle near there. But medicine has evolved. Today, before any needles are involved, urologists use a highly advanced, completely painless flashlight, the multi-parametric MRI. An MRI is a completely non-invasive scan. It takes a highly detailed, 3D picture of your prostate while you just lie there and relax. This scan lets doctors see exactly what is going on inside. They can map out the entire gland without making a single scratch. What the radiologist is looking for are suspicious dark shadows. If the scan shows nothing but normal, aging, chunky tissue, then you can go home with a massive sigh of relief. A clean MRI means your 15% ratio was just a false alarm from benign growth. But what if the scan does find a suspicious shadow? The good news is, doctors now have an exact GPS coordinate. Instead of guessing, they can perform a targeted biopsy. They sample only that specific spot. It is faster, safer, and far more accurate. And what if everything is benign, but your ratio is still sitting in that 15% gray zone? Welcome to a strategy called active surveillance. This simply means you and your doctor will keep an eye on your numbers over time. You will check your PSA every 6 to 12 months. Doctors are looking for PSA velocity. A slow crawl upwards is normal aging. A sudden spike like a race car means it is time for action. So, let us reframe how you think about this result. Instead of seeing 15% as a terrifying shadow, view it as a golden radar system. It caught your attention early. It gave you and your doctor the heads up to start monitoring long before any real trouble could ever start. You are no longer lost in the foggy gray zone. You have a map, you have a flashlight, and you have a clear plan forward. Before we even talk about MRIs, there is something crucial you need to know. Your 15% ratio might just be a victim of the imposters. The prostate is an incredibly sensitive organ. Many normal, everyday activities can artificially irritate it and cause a massive spike in total PSA. When total PSA spikes artificially, the denominator in your math fraction gets bigger. This mathematically shrinks your free PSA ratio, making it look scary. Imposter number 1, riding a bicycle. Sitting on a hard bike seat physically squishes your prostate, squeezing extra PSA directly into your bloodstream. Imposter number 2, a hidden, mild infection. A urinary tract infection or mild prostatitis can inflame the gland without you even noticing. When bacteria attack, your prostate acts like a swollen sponge, leaking excess PSA while it tries to heal. This ruins the blood test accuracy. Imposter number 3, recent sexual activity. Ejaculation works the prostate hard. If you do it within 48 hours of a blood draw, PSA skyrockets. This is why urologists strictly advise absolute pelvic rest for at least 2 full days before taking any PSA blood test. Imposter number 4, your doctor. If your doctor performs a physical prostate exam right before drawing your blood, they just squished it. Even a routine physical check causes the prostate to release a temporary wave of PSA proteins into your blood. Always do blood work first. And finally, imposter number 5, age itself. As you get older, the prostate naturally grows. A larger prostate naturally leaks a little more PSA. So, if you rode a bike to the clinic, had a recent infection, or did not rest, your 15% might be a fake number. This is exactly why good doctors rarely make drastic decisions based on one single test. They will almost always ask you to repeat it. Next time, follow the golden rules. No biking, no sexual activity, and make sure you are fully healthy before the needle goes in. Doing the test under perfect, rested conditions might reveal that your true free PSA ratio is actually way above the 25% safe line. So, you are staring at your 15% and thinking, can I just buy a magic supplement to fix this number overnight? Let us pop that bubble right now. According to the Mayo Clinic, there is absolutely no clinically proven magic pill that directly changes your free PSA ratio. However, your diet and lifestyle play a massive role in reducing overall prostate inflammation, which keeps your total PSA from acting crazy. Take the famous tomato, for example. Tomatoes are packed with an antioxidant called lycopene, which acts like a microscopic fire extinguisher for the prostate. But here is the science secret. Eating them raw is okay, but cooking tomatoes actually breaks down their cell walls, unlocking massive amounts of lycopene. So yes, having a rich tomato soup or a healthy homemade marinara sauce is genuinely good for your prostate's long-term health. Green tea is another fantastic ally. It contains powerful compounds that help flush out free radicals, reducing the cellular stress on your prostate. On the dark side, heavily processed meats and charred foods are the enemies. They are highly inflammatory and constantly provoke the prostate gland. A diet high in saturated fats keeps the prostate constantly swollen. And remember, a swollen prostate leaks more total PSA, which crashes your ratio. What about exercise? We know cycling can artificially spike the numbers, but brisk walking, jogging, or swimming are absolutely phenomenal for pelvic health. Good blood flow delivers fresh oxygen to the tissue, helping the prostate clear out inflammatory waste products naturally and efficiently. And do not forget hydration. Drinking plenty of water flushes out the urinary tract, preventing those mild hidden infections that ruin your test results. Finally, there is cortisol. Chronic stress literally bathes your internal organs in inflammatory hormones, keeping everything on high alert. Taking time to manage stress, whether through meditation, hobbies, or simply sleeping 8 hours, gives your prostate a chance to calm down. These habits will not magically alter a 15% ratio overnight, but they build a fortress of long-term resilience for your prostate health. The best part about modern urology is that medicine is not stopping at the free PSA ratio. The future is already here. If you are stuck in the 15% gray zone, urologists now have access to next-generation smart blood tests to get clarity. One powerful tool is called the Prostate Health Index, or PHI. It is like an advanced calculator for your blood. It does not just look at 2 numbers. It combines 3 different PSA markers into one highly accurate, personalized risk score. Another advanced option is the Fork Score test, which measures 4 specific prostate proteins to give a crystal clear picture. Think of these next-generation tests like a highly advanced weather forecast for your prostate's health. They can tell your doctor the exact mathematical percentage risk of a severe storm, meaning aggressive prostate cancer, brewing inside. And we are even moving beyond blood. Enter the smart urine tests like PSA3, which look for completely different clues. These tests act like highly sensitive genetic fishing nets, designed to catch microscopic fragments of specific cancer RNA. If the genetic net comes up completely empty, it provides massive reassurance that your 15% ratio is just benign aging. Doctors also factor in your unique genetic blueprint. Does prostate cancer run heavily in your specific family tree? Combining your family history, a targeted MRI, and these smart blood tests creates an impenetrable, personalized safety net. We are officially entering the end of one-size-fits-all medicine. Your care plan is now tailored exactly to your body. So, instead of sitting at home spiraling over one confusing 15% number printed on a piece of paper, you now have an entire modern medical toolkit working together to give you a definitive, personalized answer. So, the next time you walk into your urologist's office with that 15% result, you do not need to panic or feel helpless. Instead, you walk in fully empowered, ready to ask your doctor 3 highly specific, intelligent questions about your prostate health. Question number 1. Doctor, what is my PSA velocity? Is my total PSA jumping up rapidly, or is it just a slow, stable crawl? If it is a slow, multi-year crawl, that 15% might just be a harmless side effect of a naturally aging, slowly growing prostate gland. Question number 2. Did we accidentally trigger any imposters before this test? Should I retest after a full week of absolute pelvic rest? Remind them if you had a heavy workout or a recent infection. A completely clean, rested retest might reveal your ratio is actually much higher. Question number 3. Before we jump straight to needles and a biopsy, am I a good candidate for a multi-parametric MRI or a smart blood test? A good urologist
Yes,
will
this is
absolutely welcome
excellent
these
work.
questions.
Well done.
They want to avoid unnecessary, painful procedures just as much as you do. You are not just a
Sounds
passive
good.
patient.
Excellent.
You are building a
Let's
partnership.
Move forward.
This modern approach is called shared decision-making. In shared decision-making, your doctor factors in not just the raw math, but your age, your comfort level, and your personal lifestyle. And remember this golden rule. If you ever feel rushed, ignored, or dismissed by a doctor, getting a second opinion is your absolute right. Medicine
Biopsy?
is an art.
Let's
Another
wait.
expert might look at the exact same 15% ratio and suggest a completely different, much less invasive approach. To be truly empowered, start keeping a personal health binder. Track your total PSA, your free PSA ratios, and your prostate volumes over the years. Having your own historical data makes you the ultimate boss of your own health journey. Nobody knows your baseline better than you do. Together, you and your doctor will draw a clear, stress-free roadmap for the next 12 months. No more spiraling in the dark. You are in control. To wrap this all up, let us review the 3 big takeaways. Number 1, a 15% ratio is not an automatic panic button. It simply means you are in the gray zone. It is a biological puzzle piece that tells your doctor to take a closer, smarter look. Number 2, always watch out for the imposters. Everyday things like cycling, mild infections, or skipping your pelvic rest can fake your results. Before making any huge decisions, ensure you take a clean, perfectly rested test to find out your true free PSA percentage. And number 3, choose modern tools over blind panic. You don't have to jump straight to a scary, blind biopsy anymore. Ask your doctor about a multi-parametric MRI or an advanced blood test like the PHI score to get a crystal clear, painless map. Now, for the most important part of this video, I am an educational storyteller, but I am not your personal doctor. You should never use the internet to self-diagnose or ignore medical advice. Every single human body is completely unique. Always take your lab results directly to a certified urologist. Work with them to create a safe, personalized action plan. Remember, your prostate works hard for you your entire life. It is time to treat it with the care, knowledge, and respect it deserves. So close those stressful internet tabs, take a deep breath, and trust the science. You have completely got this. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the 15% gray zone. We hope it brought you some peace of mind. If this video helped clear the fog, please share it with any friends or family members who might be stressing over their own lab results. Do not forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more easy-to-understand medical doodles, and let us know what topic we should cover next in the comments. Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and always talk to your doctor. See you in the next video.